Why, good morning, you beautiful souls. Welcome to another Sunday Satsang. I hope you've had a great weekend. Now, we're entering the end of the month. It's our last day of February tomorrow, and we're getting ready for March. So there's nothing better than kind of getting yourself ready for another monthly little challenge of the willpower, another opportunity to level up. And we're doing that by letting go of attachment. So before we begin, just take a nice moment just to set some intentions. What is it you seek to let go of this morning? Are there any physical, emotional, or mental attachments that you're seeking to transmute and transform? It could simply be letting go of the habitual actions that cause us to express those lesser vibrations. So whatever it is, take a few moments, get those last few wiggles out, shake it out. And as we begin, I lovingly invite you into the space of the heart, the true throne of the soul. When you hear the first 3 taps of the singing bowl, take a nice deep inhale with each sound of the bowl as it rings. As you exhale, transform that release into a powerful Allow yourself to relax the jaw as you resonate that A note, and as you close it, the U and the M will form naturally. It's here again we bring ourselves to that intention of the heart. This letting go, this dropping away. This cessation and letting go of attachment. Each breath, each exhale and release readies us as we enter into the tensionless state, letting go of all the pressure of yesterday, the worries of tomorrow, and the angst of the past. Simply be here in the present moment. Allow everything to unfold as it needs to naturally. Simply observe and watch back as if you're enjoying a film. Again, shift your focus to the sound of the ringing. Yet here allow yourself to pay attention to the silence. As the bell fades, transition that focus into the quiet, the calm. Fall in love with the gap in between all internal and external phenomena. Marinate in the silence, the calm, the emptiness. As you rest, recognize that life is a natural process of contraction and relaxation. It's a natural happening to release, to enter into a state of rest. For our attachments, we can enter this phase by letting go of whatever it is that's holding us back from expressing ourselves freely, effortlessly, purely. What are attachments? Simply look within your own experience. What is it that you're drawn towards? What is it that you fixate upon? What is it that resonates within you? It's often here we can look that Attachments are no different than that in which we express deep affection towards. But what happens when these attachments no longer serve us? What arises within your experience when that in which you're fixated upon can damage you, can take you away from yourself, can hinder your expression and alter your perception? Are we truly in control when we allow such attachments to dictate our lives? So in this sense, we can clearly see that attachments are things that we give our power away to, that we lose ourselves within, that we ingrain so naturally in our everyday actions we don't even realize we're doing them. So what is it you love that hurts you? What is it that you love that harms you? What is it that you love that blinds you? And is it truly a love that you're showing this affection towards? Or is it merely a habitual action? The only thing you were taught? Or something all different together? Something that you came to appreciate and love? But with your current understanding, you realize the falsehood behind it. Everyone's attachments are different. Everyone expresses them in different ways, and that is the beauty of life, because our own unique expressions of our own divinity require us to go through our own journey. So it matters not what your attachments are. That matters not the severity or intensity of them. But what matters most here is that you seek to transmute those attachments into something better. You seek to end those paths. And most importantly, you seek to enter new ones. Come to see our attachments, these lesser vibratory actions, as that which stems from the path of least resistance. As we know, that in which it is we express attachments towards may not be challenging in a sense of behaviors. These lesser paths of resistance are often the easiest choice. To lose ourselves in anger, to lose ourselves in the passion, the frustration, the rejectment. Allow yourself to fully see, where are your paths of least resistance? How do they express themselves? What are the causal forces and what are the effects that you carry out? Look within your heart. Do these attachments serve you? Or do they impact your life in a negative fashion? Do they cause unnecessary chaos? Or do they build bridges of love and inclusion? We can very much see our attachments as holding on to a hot pan. Yet, unlike the physical reaction of instantly letting go because of the heat and intensity, what within us causes us to cling tighter to our attachments when we know we should let go of them? What is the validation? What is the justification that the egoic nature does? How does it justify holding on tighter? It's here we must question all attachments with the objective reality of what is. For it's that effortless expression of the truth that cuts through all illusory natures and egoic desires. Look within your heart. Where did these attachments stem from? Are they learned behaviors passed down through time by our ancestral lineage? Or do they arise from pains and traumas of the past? Are they a reaction to handle a certain life experience? Or is it something you simply enjoy and overindulge? Again, look within your heart. Where did these attachments begin? Identify their origin. It matters not where it came from. It matters not who you learned it from. It matters not what it was in response to. Simply recognize that there is a causal force and that you, the doer, are carrying out the effect. End the cycle. It is within your power. As the divine being you are the reason it still remains. It's this aspect of accountability and personal responsibility that we recognize that we give our power away to something that is not us. Even the pull and desire of the body is not us. If the rider of a horse is thirsty and the horse itself drinks from the river, does that quench the thirst of the rider upon the horse? We must recognize here that this role of our true position in life is not meant to be aligned with the attachment that you are this body. For that in which feeds the soul is far different than that in which feeds the body. So where do your attachments lie? Do they lie in the identification of the flesh? Or does that in which you're drawn towards truly call out to the heart? Come to understand that the only attachment one should have is that with truth. For it'll help us eradicate and cut away all falsehood. For it puts us on the path of always entering into the unknown, willingly and lovingly entering to this path of tension, relaxation, of learning and letting go. Come to understand that where you currently are in life is no longer applicable to the past version and self that you are and were. So look even further. Do your attachments only remain because there is some inkling, some affection of that past version of yourself? Does it no longer apply to the current version and reality in which you live? Do these attachments within your experience align with where you want to be at, to where you want to go and who you want to become in the future? If they don't, you must let them go. Correct or incorrect? Only you know these answers of the heart, for it is your realm. It is your inner kingdom. But just as much as it is your kingdom, you hold the keep, you hold the keys, you hold the passcodes to enter into this divine realm within. So where are you giving away your power? There's many ways that one can look at attachments within their own experience, but the most important lies within the heart. Do these attachments in which you're seeking to let go of impact you? Do they impact the connection you have with yourself? Do they impact the connection you have with others? Look no further than the subtle energies of your own experience. Do these attachments fill you up with love and light, or do they put up the walls of division? Do they fill you up with that radiant energy, or do they numb and dull you down? Does it build you up with love and excitement, or does it ramp you up with anxiety and angst? Recognize here that we are all on this path of effortlessness, of following this path of least resistance. But the one that stems from the heart allows us to be our free and full selves, to purely express our beingness in divine light. Yet those that come from bodily attachment take us into the paths of least resistance and lesser expression, keeping us trapped in Maya. This illusory nature and concept that you are a body must be overcome. You must look beyond the flesh. Come to understand yourself as the witness, the observer of life. And this body is simply the means to observe and experience it. You are not the attachments of flesh. You are not the emotions of the body or the mental chatter. You are the divine light that embodies it, that controls it, that dictates its movements. So come here now to let go of these attachments. Come into the space of the heart so you can see freely, fully, that which makes your heart smile. That in which your intuitive beingness knows. And come to recognize fully that nothing in this physical realm truly can impact you. Only if you give it permission to. So come back to the inner authority. Come back to recognize your divine will. And enter into that realm of manifestation. That realm of the imagination. So you may see yourself, so you may build yourself up in that perfect image and how you know you will be when these attachments are gone from your experience. Because the most important concept here to transcend in terms of letting go of our attachments is to recognize and know within our heart what we will feel like when we have let them go. And more importantly, when we have transmuted them to something that serves us. You are that divine love. You are that divine light. There is nothing in your experience that can hold you back from realizing the fullness of your potential. So come here back to that space of love. And pour that loving light onto yourself. Because it's your birthright to live liberated and free from such attachments that do you harm, that hold you back, and that close you off from life and others. That it's your birthright to bring out the fullness of your divine potential and beingness so you may freely express yourself fully as that beautiful God and Goddess you are. So take a nice deep breath here and pour that love onto yourself. Allowing it to resolve any questions of the whys, the doubts, the fears, so that the body and the heart may be at ease to welcome and lovingly embrace these newfound transitions, these newfound expressions. Take another deep breath here, filling yourself up with that love and light so you may clearly see the anchors that these attachments hold themselves onto, and that you may lovingly and courageously lift them to sever these ties, so that may live tensionless and liberated. And one more deep breath here. Again, filling yourself up with as much love and light as you can. As again, you envision yourself overcoming, successfully transmuted and transformed these paths of least resistance into the many positive habits that serve you and your truth. When you hear this final tap of the singing bowl, take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale again, transform into a powerful Om. As you simply rest within yourself, keeping the eyes closed as long as you seek comfortably, and with a big smile on your face. Pour that love onto yourself so that you may fully let go of all attachments in which you seek. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you, and thank you so much for tapping in this morning. Don't forget to smash that like, do all the fun YouTube stuff. In light of letting go of attachments, I think there's nothing more important than to recognize that many of these paths of least resistance are simply learned behaviors. And as creatures of habit, anything we seek, we can transform. It's actually this process of transmutation that allows us to take the old and to simply pivot or adjust it into something new. So recognize fully that a lot of these things that we seek to let go of are just minor forms of rituals. And if we truly seek to transform that habit, that learned behavior, that path of least resistance or attachment, it's important us to recognize what we get out of it. What's the energy exchange here? What is it that we're kind of giving our inner power and authority away to in this seemingly believed state that it's giving us something in return? That's kind of the fundamental, I guess you would say, overlooking event that arises within us, is that we somehow think that we're getting something externally. But in truth, everything is already present. Whether it's even, physical substances, these peaks behind the veils that they provide us, those moments of even things like drugs, like alcohol, they can provide a tensionlessness of us, of the relaxation effect, you could say, whatever you consume it. Even that is something that's guiding you and pointing you towards the calm and the peace that's already there within you. It's just this attachment to the body that really takes us out of this peace. So everything that we can look in the basic fundamental level of what attachments do, they reinforce the position that you are the body. Plain and simple. That's one way that you could kind of objectively look at these realms of attachment, because they all revolve around sensation, right? People that are attached to anger to sadness to, frustration, all of those concepts rely around how the body feels and people getting attached to that stuff. And thank you. Oh, DMD throwback. Thanks, yo. But that's a perfect one. The rider on the horse metaphor actually perfectly expresses that statement right there is, our anger, our passion, our frustration, our dullness, the sloth, whatever the expression is that our attachment has, it's the horse doing it, you know? It's just as much as the horse drinking the water from the river and the rider being like, that tastes good. Like, bro, you're not the one drinking the water. The horse is. You just think you're the horse. Like, that's the simplest way to look at it and break it down. And this is where we have to look at our attachments because we give our power away to the body when we adhere to them. If you feel like you need something, if you feel like, you have to do something, like how many people feel like they have to be an asshole when they're angry? Like, I know I was one of those people that, when I was angry, I felt like I had to be frustrated. I had to like yell and things like that. But ultimately, that's just not true at all. It's a choice. Everything in this existence is a choice. And our attachments are just those ways that the ego can almost provide us the opportunity to overcome something that we're deeply attached to, again, that we've been forced to kind of soak up through our environment, through our learned experiences. So there's a lot of avenues to explore when it comes to letting go of attachments. And there's nothing more important than give yourself a little experiment this month. Um, I know every month I've been doing something a little bit different, and it's been cool. Honestly, it's these little practices that you can do to increase your willpower that drastically impact your life. There's nothing more important than leveling up in this terms of boosting your divine powers, and questioning your attachments is one of them, especially I would say more internal ones, the emotions and the mental attachments. How does your mind operate when you are confronted with failure, with stress, with your assumptions or expectations not getting met? What are the triggers? Where are those paths of least resistance? We're entering a time when that in which you seek will be brought up to the, I guess you would say, forefront of your experience pretty quickly. Life will provide you the opportunities to fully let go of these things. But just as much as I advise my own students, I always advise people to realize when you seek out to let go of such things, like truly in your heart, when you're like, I'm done with this attachment, I want to be over it, I want something different, life will give you that opportunity. But again, as I've said numerous times before, it's going to test you, because if you really want to let it go, it's going to give you the perfect opportunity to experience this choice. Are you either going to express it or let it go? So just understand, life is always trying to uplift us and support us, but it provides us the lessons that we may not think they'll come in. So I just got to say, I love you so much. Thanks for tapping in. And as always, may the fruit of knowledge offer a seed. And in that seed, may your love, will, and intuition give life and nourishment, for a tree shall grow. And in its shade may you find peace, and offer peace to all whom ask. Namaste. If there are no more questions, I'm going to dip out. But I got to say, thank you again. We're entering that time. So get ready. I will say, hold that love and light. Again, if you're here listening to this message thus far, you are one of those light bearers that the world needs to just remain in love. And as everything is happening nowadays, life really wants you to fully tap into your fullness and to let go of all the falsehoods. So seek it out, and life's going to give you that grace. And again, take care. Love you so much. Have a great day. I'll see you Wednesday for that first song in March. Peace.